What's up team, welcome to this week's video, which is going to contain the two best, or in my opinion, the two best exercises to help with your running. Not only is it going to help with your running form and technique and strengthen up those muscles that we use while running, the hamstrings and glutes mainly, but it's also going to help prevent any injuries moving forwards as well. We all know you're probably not even a proper runner until you've gotten injured. Running's really high impact, so any exercises that we can do to help strengthen those muscles around the hips, which will help align our knees and our feet, it's going to help stop us getting injured or reduce the likelihood of injury moving forwards into our training as well. But first, it is Saturday, so I've got to go out and do a long run, so I will see you on the run. Let's go. We are out. So order of the day is a 50-minute nice steady, I say long run. 50 minutes isn't that long in terms of the grand scheme of things, but kind of where I'm at in terms of long run training at the moment. Just trying to build up the distance nice and steadily, keep the heart rate low, keep the cadence nice and high, keep injury free and enjoy it. So I thought I'd chosen a nice flat route for today's run, but it's either slog it uphill and then come down the other side and stop yourself running too fast on the other side. So I don't think my heart rate's gone much below zone 3 at the moment. I'm going to be zone 2 for the majority of the run, but hey ho, we'll see where we're at. Enjoying it anyway. Bit of a different route than I normally take. Just trying to build the distance week by week. Every 2 or 3 weeks I'm trying to up my long run distance, so maybe next week, depending on how my knees and ankles are my two main sort of injury prone points I have that I'm trying to work on. If they're feeling good at the end of the 50 minutes, next week I'll up it and hold on that for 2 or 3 weeks and see how I feel after that. So there we have it, run done. Probably the slowest run I've done in a long time. Here are the stats. Nothing crazy. 5.65 miles, 50 minutes, 8 minutes 53 per mile. So turned out to be a slow one, a little bit tougher than expected due to the hills, so I've learned my lesson. But yeah, I'm going to go in and change this top because it's pretty warm now. Wrong choice having long sleeves this morning. And yeah, go through my two favourite exercises for runners. I will see you inside. So exercise number 1 is the lying leg lift, and quite often when we're running we're going to put our foot down, and what can happen is our hip drops on the opposite side to our standing leg. So what this does, if you kind of watch where my knee is aligned with my foot, if I'm running and I'm standing and then my hip drops, this kind of helps my knee cave in, so my glutes are kind of relaxed. They're not activating too much and my knee will cave in. So what we want to do is try and strengthen what we call the glute medius on the landing leg. That will then help the hips level out, and you can see as my hips level out, my knee kind of comes back in line with my hip and in line with my foot. So we just want to prevent something called hip drop. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a glute medius strengthening exercise, which is the lying leg lift. So it's fairly easy to do. There's a couple of variations we can do. But a really simple one just to start with is just lying on the side. So you're going to have your elbow underneath the shoulder. You're going to have the knee in line with the elbow as well. So you don't want to be too far in front or curled up. You want to be in a nice straight line. And just to start off with, all we're going to do, so you're working mainly on the side of the hip that's sort of closest to the floor, is all you're going to do is keep your legs together and you can just pulse from the floor up to this position in a nice straight line here. This is going to activate your sort of obliques as well, so the side of your core. Once you've got this nailed, and you can do say 3 sets of between 8 and 10, you can then add in sort of splitting the legs apart a little bit as well. So all we're going to do for this is start a little bit further up this time instead of further down. Going to start up, split the legs apart, really pushing as far as we can with the bottom leg. You should feel it activate around here. Coming back down nice and slowly. And we're trying to again get to between around 8 to 10 reps and manage that for 3 to 4 sets. Once you can manage that, what you can do is you can then extend the leg out a little bit further, okay? So obviously extending the leg makes it a little bit tougher, a little bit longer. And you'll also start to feel it on the top leg as well. So you'll start to feel it in this hip as well as this hip. So all we're going to do now, keep the legs straight, coming up as far as you can. We're trying to keep this foot pointed down, so we don't want it pointed up, because again, when we run, we want to run in a straight line. So foot facing forward, coming down, coming back up. So this is going to create a lot more tension and it'll be a lot tougher than those really basic exercises that we often get told to do, such as like clamshells and things like that, and leg lifts. This is really going to start to put some weight on this hip and this glute medius to start to try and strengthen it. When you get really strong and your hips get really strong, you can kind of come out into a full side plank position and extend this bottom leg as well. So this is going to make it really tough. And again, I wouldn't move on to this variation until you can do between 3 and 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps of the exercise. But you can come up into this position, and again, same kind of thing. Again, you can add a little dip in at the bottom, extending this leg up here. So that's going to be a really tough one, but you should really start to feel it in this glute med. If we can strengthen the glute medius up, then as I said, it's just going to mean when you're running, you're going to be able to keep your hips level, and even just practice, trying to get those hips level in a stood up position. You'll feel that much more after doing this exercise a couple of times. So completing these 2 exercises, sort of between 2 and 3 times per week, should really start to strengthen your glutes. And the second exercise I'll show you will strengthen the hamstring as well. Exercise number 2 is also a really good one for runners. So this one's going to strengthen the glute max, so the back of the glutes instead of just the side, but it's also going to help strengthen the hamstring as well. So this is, again, another really tough bodyweight exercise. We quite often, as runners, get recommended some bodyweight exercises which don't really put enough strain on the muscle to get enough adaptation to grow stronger. So we've all probably seen, places recommending us to do hip bridges. Well, this is just a little bit too easy. I've never really met anyone who can't do one of these. Again, you can make it harder coming up onto one leg, but to really make it tough, once you've progressed through the normal kind of hip bridge progressions, we can come on to a kind of a reverse plank march. So it looks something like this. You're going to be hands on the floor, fingers facing behind you. All you're going to do is have your legs out as straight as you can. Feel free, if you're more of a beginner, you can tuck your legs in a little bit further, but the idea is eventually to try and build up to doing this exercise with the legs out fully. Hips up as high as you can. We're wanting to squeeze the bum on this one. So hips up as high as possible. They might drop a little bit over the course of the exercise, but try and keep them up. And all we're going to do is march, get on there as high as we can. As high as we can. Again, try to keep those hips up as high as possible. And between 8 to 10 repetitions is really great for this one, so I can really feel this in my glutes and in my hamstrings. And again, 8 to 10 repetitions, 3 to 4 sets. Do that a couple of times a week and you should be really good to go. And again, if you find that a bit of a struggle, what you can do is just tuck the legs in a little bit so you can still feel it, and try that like so. Eventually working out all the way, keeping the hips up, managing it like that. So there you have it, 2 exercises that will help to improve your running. One is going to help with more sort of stability, injury prevention, with helping that knee not cave in. The other one is going to help you generate more power in the glutes and the hamstrings to really propel you forward as you run. So there you go. Please do like and subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Please do put down in the comments what you want to see next as well. Is there any tips you want to see, or any exercises you want to see that can help improve your running, your cycling, or anything just to do with general training or strength training as well. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks again for watching.